They say every small town's got at least one story so wild. Folks will be talking about it long after the headlines fade. But let me tell you, nothing prepared Cedar Rapids, Iowa for the morning Titan's fate was decided. And sure as the sunrise casting those long, nervous shadows across the county animal control facility, there wasn't a single soul in town who could have guessed how things would play out. I mean, imagine this. Sheriff Tom Bradley, man with more regrets than gray hairs, checking his sidearm one last time, walking toward a decision that had chewed up his sleep for weeks. 30 minutes on the clock, and he's supposed to put down a 2,000-pound Angus bull, Titan. The one folks whispered about in grocery lines and at church potlucks. The bull whose rage had grown legendary, whose very name made kids shiver and grown men clench their jaws. The Titan's pen sat at the far end, thick concrete and steel bars scarred with deep, angry grooves, testament to the beast's endless fight to break free. You could hear him before you saw him, that heavy, rhythmic pacing, hooves digging little craters in the concrete. His eyes were wild, red-rimmed, tracking everything with a kind of desperate intelligence. "I still don't like this, Tom," said Dr. Sarah Mitchell, clipboard in hand, face drawn with more worry than sleep. "3 attacks, Tom. Mrs. Henderson still can't use her right arm, and that Peterson kid? Lucky to be breathing." The sheriff nodded, haunted by the memory of the call that sealed Titan's fate. 8-year-old Jimmy, ribs broken, lung punctured, trampled while fixing a fence with his dad. The judge's order was final, and Tom's voice was heavy as winter snow. Too many incidents, too much risk. No sanctuary'll take him now. Outside, a crowd was gathering, signs waving, "Save Titan" side by side with "Justice for Victims." News crews, victims' families, protesters, everybody with an opinion, nobody with the answer. Some folks figured Titan was just born bad, but Tom, in all his years, knew better. Anger's got roots. Pain's got a story, even if you can't see it. And just as Dr. Mitchell started in again about Titan's mysterious change, gentle as a lamb for 5 years, something snapped, no medical cause. All hell broke loose at the front gate. A woman, Maria Santos, local interpreter at the deaf school, was arguing with security, hands flying, voice shaking, a little girl in tow, maybe 8 or 9, standing silent as a stone, but with eyes locked on Titan's pen through the glass. "That's Maria," Dr. Mitchell whispered, puzzled. The girl, Maya, as it turned out, stood unmoving, staring so intently that even Titan, who hadn't been calm in weeks, suddenly stopped pacing. For the first time in months, that wild bull went still, head turned, watching her back. Now, Maya Santos had never heard a sound in her life. Born profoundly deaf, raised by her Aunt Maria, and known for seeing the world a little differently, through vibration, through body language, through a kind of intuition that left adults shaking their heads. Maria was pleading with the guard, signing as she spoke. She just wants to see him. She says she knows what's wrong. Pete, the burly security guard, didn't know what to do. "Ma'am, this is an active situation, and that's a condemned animal," he started, but Maya wasn't listening to any of that. She pressed her hands to the glass, her eyes never leaving Titan, her whole body vibrating with something none of us could quite name. Through the glass, Maya saw not a monster, but a creature lost, hurt, scared, desperate. Her small hands signed rapidly to Maria. "He's not angry. He's in pain. I can help." Maria's face went pale, but she translated anyway, drawing confused stares from everyone nearby. The sheriff, who'd been watching, made his way over. 15 minutes, Dr. Mitchell said, checking her watch. The crowd outside was swelling, folks on both sides craning their necks to see the little girl and the infamous bull. Sheriff Bradley crouched down, asking Maria, "What's she saying?" Maria signed the question, and Maya's response was a flood of gestures, her whole face alive with conviction. "She says Titan isn't a bad bull." Maria translated, almost apologetic. "She says something's hurting him, something sharp, constant, like metal. She can feel it when she touches the glass, like he's screaming and nobody can hear. The room fell silent. Everyone watching as Maya kept her palms on the glass, face scrunched in focus. And then, like the kind of moment you don't believe even when you see it, Titan began to move. Slow, careful steps toward Maya. Head low, no aggression, just a heavy, aching calm. He pressed his massive forehead to the glass, and Maya matched him, palms flat, her eyes closing. The air in the room changed. You could feel it in your teeth, in your bones. Dr. Mitchell, scientific mind racing, pointed at Titan's monitors. His stress levels are dropping, Tom. This is impossible. Maya's hands moved not in sign language, but in a sort of instinctual dance, fingers painting invisible shapes on the glass, communicating in a way that bypassed words entirely. And Titan, well, that bull just breathed deeper, his panic fading, his whole body relaxing for the first time since anyone could remember. She started making a soft vibration with her throat, not a sound, but a feeling, a wave that traveled through the glass. Titan lowered himself to the ground, head still pressed to the barrier, trusting this little girl with his life. 10 minutes, the sheriff muttered, looking to Maria. Ask her what she's sensing. Maya signed urgently, Maria's disbelief growing with every word. She says Titan's in agony. Pain in his head, like metal stuck somewhere, gets worse with loud noise. That's why he attacks. He's not mean. He's desperate to escape the pain. Dr. Mitchell's eyes went wide. Metal? We did x-rays, but only looked for big things, not the ears or sinuses. All Titan's violent outbursts. They'd happened during loud events. The fair, tractors, barbecues with music. Maria continued. She wants to help. She says if we get the metal out, he'll be okay, but she needs to get closer. The request hit the air like thunder. An 8-year-old child, in a pen with a bull sentenced to death? The adults hesitated, but Titan never looked away from Maya. Calm as a Sunday afternoon, Sheriff Bradley weighed the risk, follow orders, or trust a child's intuition. He made the kind of call that changes a man. Open the gate, he said, ignoring every rule in the book. Dr. Mitchell protested, but Tom only nodded at the calm in Titan's eyes. Maya stepped in, small, steady, not a hint of fear, and knelt beside the enormous head, hands searching his skull, her face a map of concentration. Suddenly, she froze, then signed frantically, metal, behind his left ear, deep in the canal. Dr. Mitchell, now driven by raw curiosity, entered, letting Maya guide her hand. She felt it too, a sharp edge, buried deep. There's something here. Could be wire, maybe fencing. No wonder he's been in agony. With Maya soothing Titan, her touch a balm, her presence somehow anesthetic. Dr. Mitchell worked fast, pulling out her tools, prepping an emergency procedure right there in the pen. Each time Titan flinched, Maya shifted, calming him with touch, until finally, 20 breathless minutes later, Dr. Mitchell pulled out a twisted piece of metal, nearly 2 inches long, bloodied and sharp. Every noise, every vibration, would have sent pain through his skull, she said, holding up the fragment. The difference in Titan was immediate. His eyes cleared, his body lightened, his whole demeanor changing from wild to gentle. He got up, slowly, carefully, and walked to each adult, sniffing their hands, curious, kind. When he got to Maya, he nuzzled her gently, a thank you that needed no translation. Outside, words spread like wildfire. The monster bull, saved not by force or by protest, but by a deaf girl who listened better than anyone else ever had. Her quiet way of understanding, of seeing pain where others saw threat, gave Titan back the life everyone else thought lost. So now I gotta ask, if you were in Sheriff Bradley's boots, would you have followed the rules or taken the leap of faith? Did the system nearly fail an innocent creature because nobody stopped to listen? What would real justice look like in a world where we slowed down long enough to understand the pain beneath the rage? Let's hear your thoughts. What's right? What's fair? And who gets to decide? Drop your opinions in the comments, because stories like this are meant to be argued, remembered, and maybe, just maybe, learned from.